So good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Halloween edition of ARIVE University. So I appreciate everyone joining in. ARIVE University is a bi-weekly series that we host with our community where we talk about new features that we are launching, get some feedback from you guys. So one of the feedback I heard at Fuse was, ARIVE University has become a one-way street. We talk about all these features we are launching, great things we are doing, but we really don't bring people from the broker community or expert from the broker community that can talk about how they are using those features in their business, how they are taking advantage of ARIVE, how are they maximizing their investments in ARIVE. So we're going to change ARIVE University a little bit. We will still do demos and roadmap discussions, but we want to bring community members into this sessions, into these series, so they can talk about features they love, they like, how they are using it, how they are maximizing outreach to their partners, their customers. So this is something new we are doing, and hopefully it adds more value to our users. This will be a live discussion. So if you have any questions, feel free to use the Q&A tab below. We are in the Halloween season. Halloween is next Tuesday. So first, Shane, I'm going to dress up for Halloween. So you have to give me a second as I put my costume on. So it's all digital, right? So I'm going to make my look more Halloweeny, if you will. So let's see. A little bit of beard looks nice.
And I'm not offended that you said that this was going to be a scary episode. I feel like that just really positioned me as like the guy who was going to blow something up or like break the system. There you go.
All right. How does that look? So now I'm in the Halloween mode, but welcome everyone. Whether this will be a trick, a treat, or a scary episode, we'll leave that towards the end. But again, I want to thank everyone who has joined us today. And I'm also very excited to have my good friend, Shane Kidwell. He was into retail for 10 years, became a broker recently, runs another company called Next Level Loan Officers, which provides coaching and mentoring to loan officers. So I'm so excited he found time and volunteered his time to join us today, where he will talk about certain features, how he is using ARIVE. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A tab below, and we will take them as they come. Now, before we dive into Shane, I do want to talk about what is our lineup for next 2 months. We are towards the end of 2023. We have delivered more than 20 releases just this year. Is not that scary? For an LOS system with 20,000 users, we actually gave 20 major updates all through the year. And most of them is based on the feedback we get from our community. So if you're not on ARIVE Mortgage Brokers Facebook group, join that today. If you have an idea or a suggestion or something you want to see in ARIVE, let us know at feedback@arive.com. We are always listening to our users. So I'm going to jump into what we have in store for the rest of the year, next 2 months. And then we will have Shane walk through some of the features he's using in his business. So I'm going to share my screen here, and let's. So Shane, can you see my screen?
You're good, Harish.
Good. If I can find the button to present. So apparently they changed it. All right, sounds good. So we're going to talk about how we are going to finish 2023, what features we have lined up. It's a treat of features. And I'm not tricking you guys, it's a real treat, which we are going to present. And then we'll get to Shane to see how he is using ARIVE in his business, some key features. All right, so our November lineup consists of something called ad hoc reports. This has been the #1 request from our users, like, ARIVE is good in capturing data, origination, pricing engine, point of sale, but our reporting capabilities were rather limited in the sense you had one report that you can generate. You can still export everything in your pipeline. And we do a pretty good job at generating call reports, which can then be submitted to NMLS. But there was no way by which you can generate ad hoc reports, slice and dice your data, have custom reports saved, branch level reports, company reports, your personal reports. So this is something we are going to release as early as next week, right after Halloween. So ad hoc reports is a big feature for November release. Then we are also going to release some updates for our non-Dell customers or mini correspondents, specifically around mortgagee clauses and how they send servicing transfer notices and licensing requirements, in the sense they can put a lender license in certain states. So again, updates around our non-Dell customers goes out sometime in November. Then we have a really big feature, which we have been working for many months. So NewFi is a great partner, new partner we just signed up. They're going to go live on ARIVE platform towards the end of November. So we are very excited about that. They are really strong in non-QM. So just to support them, we have actually redone some of how pricing works. So you'll be able to actually pick income qualification type, and based on, let's say you pick DSCR, then we will ask what's the DSCR ratio. And based on that, certain products will qualify, certain products will not qualify. So they are really strong in non-QM. We are very excited about them. And we have made changes to our pricing engine to support NewFi. So we expect that will go live late November, and we are very excited about that. The last feature we are shooting for a November release is UWM portal updates. UWM portal is a way by which an LOS system can exchange information with UWM's LOS. So we already shipped loan registration, by which you can electronically submit loans via UWM portal. We are now closely working with them to get updates back into ARIVE. So when something changes in UWM system, they will push those updates back into ARIVE. So that is also expected to go live mid-November. We have a large team working on that, closely working with our partners at United Wholesale Mortgage. So again, a big treat, as I call it, lineup. These are big features. We have been working on them for many months, and we are very excited to bring them to all of our community users. December, the holiday month, as we get closer to Christmas, we are still working hard and working strong. So we recently released commission management, LO comp management in ARIVE, and specifically on the non-Dell side, we are able to reconcile purchase advice, interest on your warehouse lines, all those factors. And then you can actually track LO comp. So you can say, how much did I pay LO? It's in basis point, percentage, something else. So that has gotten really good feedback from our community. But what we heard from all of you is your needs are more complex or more advanced. There is no way to split commission. If you have multiple loan officers on file, or if you have a branch that has a branch override, or you are paying processor a fixed fee. So we don't have a good way to track that in the current version. So that is being addressed, again, based on all the great feedback we have received. So split commissions will go live in December, by which you will be able to say, I paid one loan officer 20 basis points. I paid an LOA $500. I paid the primary loan officers 100 basis points. By the way, I had a recruiter who gets 5 basis points, or I had a mentor who gets 2 basis points or $200. Whatever that process is, we have gotten really good feedback from our community. So we're going to support split commissions in ARIVE by December. That is pretty much done, and we'll have another session to show you how you can actually enter LO comps in a really fine-grained manner, take out all deductions or any other expenses that may have occurred in the loan, or give credit back to the LO. So that will go live in December, and we will do a session on that. I would say sometimes either end of November or early December. Another big feature that gets asked for us from all the time is qualified mortgage test or high-cost mortgage test. So again, we have been working on this for many months. There are nuances on QM test in ARIVE versus a lender portal, how fees get treated, which fees are APR, which are not APR. But we believe we have enough information at this point that we can enable QM tests. So once you have dialed in all your fees, who pays what and what fees are APR fees, you'll be able to actually run an early QM test. So we can tell you, does this loan pass QM or does not pass QM? And if it fails a QM test, why does it fail the QM test? Again, we have been working on this for many months, and we are excited to bring this out to our community in December. So as ARIVE is being used by many large companies, large brokerages, we have heard from our users that they need more control on administrating the system. a company of 600 loan officers, 1,000 loan officers, their owners are asking us to say, can you please give us more control so we can decide once the loan is adverse, it cannot be brought back to life. Or if the loan is finalized, it cannot be brought back to life. Or if I have set some licensing in loan officers, they cannot go and update their licensing. So we're going to bring more controls in ARIVE, which is all optional. But if a company owner wants to kind of lock down their ARIVE instance, if you will, and then allow certain features and disallow certain features, let's say you want to use company credentials for all AUS and credit pulls. So those kinds of enhancements will go out. It'll start in December, and then January, February will continue to push more enhancements. But given company owners more control of how their loan officers use ARIVE is lined up for our December release. Now I have some scary announcement. It is scary, and that's kind of how we think about this. I don't know how many of you know that NMLS is revamping its call report to version 6, and it is going to be mandatory starting Q1. That's the going in position right now. We are closely watching if that date will be moved out. But what we have heard and what we have learned from NMLS's website is starting Q1 2024, everybody goes to this common call report, version 6 of call report. It's a significant change for us. And we realize how important these call reports are to our community, how valuable they are, how much they save your time. You can just click a button, pick the state, do an export, and you have your call report. So we are going to finish changes to support these call reports by December. The actual export of reports will go live sometime end of February or March timeframe, in time for your April submissions. But this is or May submissions, but this is a really big change. So again, I encourage everyone who's on the call to at least be aware of this. This is coming. This is mandatory. You cannot kind of run away from this. And it does scare us. We have to do many changes in our system so that we can capture all the data NMLS is expecting when you go and submit that report in 45 days of the quarter date. So it's a fairly big feature. A lot of engineers are working on this. Our product team, our compliance team, we are all hands on deck to make sure we get this done in time as January 1st starts. Now, remember, we have the 3-year rule. For 3 years, we have to support backward compatibility to older call reports. So you can always go back to Q4 2023 and still generate the call report in the current format. But starting Q1 of next year, NMLS is mandating a new format of call reports, which will be applicable to everyone, including mortgage brokers. So again, I would encourage everyone to go to NMLS website and at least look at, V6. It's called call report V6. There is summary of changes, all the changes, detailed headings. But ARIVE will be ready by Q1 of next year when you guys have to submit these new reports. So we are pretty proud and excited about that. It's a scary thing, but we are excited that we will be ready in time so that our brokers will have tools that can help them do their call reporting in time. All right, that's a lot of features. So the last one I want to talk about is prospect pricing. And the idea here is right now, brokers can only look at pricing from lenders they are approved with. So what we have heard from our lender partners is, how do I push my pricing to all ARIVE brokers, not just approved brokers? That project is underway right now. And based on the complexity of this feature, we expect by end of December or January, this should be available. So what would happen is, if you're a broker in ARIVE, you will see live pricing from approved lenders, but we will also give you a place by which you can check pricing from lenders you are not approved with. So at least you know where they are with respect to the market. And then if you want to get approved with them, right inside that experience, you'll be able to click a button and submit an approval package. This is another high value, high priority feature we have been looking into for several months. It does add complexity as the number of lenders increase, number of brokers increase. We have to show every lender's pricing to every broker. So it does add significant complexity to our system, but we are ready for that. So again, this could be like January, but this feature is coming, that you'll be able to look at pricing from all ARIVE partners, not just approved partners. So as I mentioned, you guys are in for a treat. We are not here to trick you and bear the consequences. We are doing our level best, even in holiday hours or holiday days, we are pushing hard. We greatly appreciate community's participation. Again, there may be some minor features that may slide in. I'm not covering them. There are features like user-based POS URL. So every user in the company can get their own point of sale link. So those features are also in the work. And if time permits, we might slide them in. But this is our lineup for the remainder of the year. Before we dive into Shane, I'm going to pause for a few minutes and see if we have any questions. Let's see. So Brian asked, what's the ETA for Arizona pre-approval that will allow agents to go in and modify them? And this is exactly the reason we are having this discussion. This feature already went live a couple of weeks ago, where loan officers can set the pre-approval template and say, this is my Arizona pre-approval letter. And then agents will see Arizona pre-approval letter, and they can go in and update that. And then it will again generate a specific pre-approval letter for Arizona or Texas or your company template. So again, this has gone live, and this is the whole idea of this session, that we want to maximize value of the features which are already available to the community. But great question, Brian. So see, delete a file, you can work with support. We let you add words file. Again, if you have comments or specific feedback items, let us know, feedback@arrive.com, or chat with our users. They will help you guide through if there is something missing. Investment loan, it is available today. Again, if there are more questions, we do have office hours, or we call them Ask Arrive. It happens 3 times a week. So if you're trying to do an investment loan or some specific loans or non-QM loans or DPA programs, so we have dedicated sessions happening 3 times every week. Go to arrive.com/events. It's called Ask Arrive. I would encourage everyone to take advantage of these events. We put a ton of time setting them up. We have actual employees who are experts come to these events. They are completely free. So we are doing many events every week. We would encourage you guys to take advantage of them. Reports on TPP, we are looking into that. It is complex. Reverse mortgage application is a part of our call reports enhancement. So we will let you capture at least the data for reverse, whether it is standard or proprietary, and then some other questions from a call report submission. It is still not the system of origination for reverse mortgage, but you can at least look at basic things like fees. There is MIP, 2%. So we'll dial that in. But that would be available as a part of our call report enhancement, early next year. But good question. So soft pulls in AUS is a great question. It is not on us or lenders. It is on agencies. It's in a limited pilot that you can run AUS with a soft pull. So we are in touch with both agencies. A limited pilot is underway right now. Again, agencies have told us which brokers they are comfortable giving this access to. And over time, at least with Freddie Mac, it will get rolled out if everything goes well. But we are in touch with agencies, and it's not so much about Arrive or lender. It's about the risk appetite. So their biggest concern is they should not get a file which is marked closed and only soft pull has been done. So that's kind of how they are looking at from a risk perspective. And we do appreciate, like, they're so big. They're kind of the backbone of the housing finance industry. So again, they have expressed concerns around risk. So that's why it's a limited pilot with a few lenders, but we are working with them. But great question on doing AUS or running AUS with soft pull. Any CRM connections on the way? I'm going to hold off on this till maybe January. So we do have some exciting plans on what we are doing with CRM. So we have some Zapier integrations already out. And then we have some more exciting announcements coming on CRM side. And we'll talk about that in January. So again, great question, Sean. Any plans to have direct integration with another CRM? So yes, so we are looking into what's the best use case for supporting CRMs. And some of this Shane will go through about in transaction collaboration, text and email. But come January, we'll have more updates on what we are doing with CRMs. Pre-call and pre-approval. We already have Arizona pre-call and Texas pre-approval, so check that out. Another question on soft pulls. These are good questions. Investment loan, we did cover that. Again, if you have specific questions on a scenario, Ask Arrive is a good forum to ask that. QM test will do a high cost test. It is complex. Again, you can look at this Arrive as an early, early check, if you will. So we're going to factor certain fees as APR. We know APOR by downloading that. We know the ranges. So we will do an early check and tell you this is by no means final, verify with your investor, but at least at a high level, we can tell you points and fee interest and where APOR is. So, but good question. Anything about AI? So yes, we have exciting things happening. As I said, early next year, when we have something more concrete, we will let our community know. Wow, these are good questions. Anyway, we could have automate opt-out screen when we do soft pull. So, so again, from our perspective, we want to keep you protected. Any automation on opt-outs and all that. So there'll be a checkbox that says, what you are doing, but we are not going to automate anything that might be a compliance issue down the road. But good point. If you have such suggestions, still send them our way at feedback@arrive.com or post them on our Arrive Mortgage Brokers Facebook group. We are always looking for good ideas. Next APR enhancements, a few more fields are being added, I believe, as early as next week, like on the closing dates. And we continuously push enhancements based on fields missing. We will be adding lead support to Zapier sometime in Q1. So not just loans, you can export leads from Zapier if you guys would like to. So that's coming, I would say, January timeframe, but good question. When someone uploads multiple documents, this is a more detailed question. So I'm going to, it is from anonymous. So join our Ask Live, Ask Arrive sessions. So our experts will say, somebody uploaded 1 document or 4 document or 5 document. How do you separate them? How do you merge them? How do you split them? You can do all that fun stuff in Arrive, but ask these questions in our Ask Arrive sessions or ask our chat support. They'll get you answers in less than 2 minutes. So some questions on pro accounts, work with our support. They're amazing. They'll be able to help you there. Questions on soft pull, we went through that. I'm just rushing through this. SMS A2P 10 DLC, I got that right. It's, we face that challenge. If you have a number, the carriers are forcing to get approvals just because there is so much spam. And we did ask some carriers directly, why are you doing all this? So I think the underlying reason is to prevent spam. They want to know whom are you texting, is your, what that message will be. And if you send something else instead of the message you gave them, they're going to block you. So we kind of have seen that happen already. I do suggest there are 1-800 numbers or 1-855 numbers or 1-888 numbers. They are not subject to this A2P 10 DLC. They're a little more expensive on the monthly fee. But if you are worried about these restrictions, I would encourage you to look into 1-800 or 1-888 or toll-free numbers. They are not subject to these restrictions. But good questions, not done by us. This is from the carriers. So the recording of Arrive University is on our Facebook group. It is being streamed live. It will get recorded. And if you want to watch this again, go to our Facebook group and watch a replay. So Zapier fields, I already answered. A few of them are coming. More are going to be done. As long as they're not personally identifiable information, dates or some status fields, we are looking to add that in. So somebody is praising our chat, so thank you so much. We have a target of 2 minutes of response time, and it'll tell you the current response time. So we have ramped up that team. And again, I'm grateful to our internal teams, product, engineering, support. They make these things happen. They come together, sales, business development. They're in the field with you guys, making sure you get the service you expect and deserve. So let's see, again, on a question on CRM, we are going to talk about this next. So there is this question on how does sending text via Arrive gets impacted by these changes. So I'm going to have Shane talk about that. He's using that in Arrive. And if you need training, we have a support website, support.arrive.com. So we have a lot of tutorials. How do I do things? Videos. We have these office hours, and all this content is free. There is no cost. All you need to commit to is your time. So there was a question on, I forgot the question. Let me see if I can go back. Yeah, Spanish application. So there is this, we have looked in Spanish application. Since we are an LOS system where you can do docs and disclosures, so there are certain, I would say, complexities on converting all those docs into Spanish if we do a Spanish app. But again, we are working with our partners at AIM and others to see what can we do in coming months to do a Spanish app, but it is not on an immediate roadmap if that's the question. Also, you can always use the browser setting. I think our friends like, Evan has posted many videos, tutorials to see how can you convert the app into Spanish by using a browser setting. So with that, we are halfway into the session, and what a interactive session. I appreciate all the comments and feedback. With this, I'm going to give it to my good friend Shane Kidwell. He was in retail before for 10 years. I'll let him introduce himself. He now runs a very successful brokerage, dual mortgage. And so Shane, first of all, thank you. Do you want to introduce yourself and some of the features you are using?
Of course. I feel underdressed, Harish. So, but this is my uniform of choice. Yeah. I was in retail. I got into the business in 2009 and I was a broker for like 9 months. And the FBI raided the company that I worked for. So that was my experience to the broker world way back in the day. I was in retail from 2010, until 2022. My last 2 years, I was an EVP of sales for a small regional retail lender. So I've been an LO, I've been a team lead, I've been a branch manager, I've been on the corporate side. I've kind of seen all the different angles on the retail side and have had to, work with building out LOSs through Encompass and things like that. And so I became a broker, launched my broker shop January of this year. I either have great timing or terrible timing. That's to be determined, but really excited about the community. Love working with ARIVE. Before we launched our brokerage, we sat down with some of the top brokers that were in our coaching group Next Level. And we asked them, who are you using for investors? Who are your AEs? What technologies are mandatory? And that's how we got to ARIVE. So we did a couple of months of pretty intensive research to figure out what had the most features, simplicity, price, scalability, all those things. And more than just that was constantly adding things to the system. And that's what we love about ARIVE. When I was on Encompass, I think we might have had 20 updates in 12 years. So let alone 20 updates in a year. I mean, it just was so cumbersome. And yeah, there were some good features. No system is perfect. They had good reporting, really good reporting. But I mean, when you log in, you could go take a bathroom break, get a cup of coffee, come back, and they're still logging in. It's still loading your files. I mean, it was just super cumbersome. So that's how I got here today. And excited to share kind of some of the ways my team and I are leveraging ARIVE and replacing other tools that we had to bolt on to Encompass or Byte or Calyx Point in the past.
Yeah, absolutely, Shane. So are you since you have real data, so are you comfortable sharing? You want to talk about that? Like some of the, like how are you working with your agents, pre-approvals and.
Yeah. So I think kind of the first thing for me is when I look at the system, I want to know what are the different components and how can I use it to make more money, right? And so I want to have things that are what I would consider like unique or proprietary to me that I can offer to my agents. And so we had before, I had Encompass, I had Mortgage Coach, I had a pre-approval portal, I had a point of sale, and then I had my pricing engine. So that's what, 5 or 6 different technologies or systems that I had to pay for independently. And in my world, we would pay $100 to $150 per file just for Encompass. Then we had to pay for our point of sale, Mortgage Coach, all these other tools, and all great tools, but it just became, my cost to onboard a new LO was $1,000 or more per month just for technology. So what I love about ARIVE is there's a couple key components that I like using. First, the point of sale is super, super easy. So we start our process with an intake conversation, and that's 15 to 20 minutes. We're basically pre-qualifying the client over the phone. And we do that for a couple of reasons. One, I think that's $1,000 an hour call. That's where we're solidifying the value that we bring. We're talking about the market. We're proactively prepping them for what they can experience. We're walking them through the borrower portal. We're talking about how the agent can access it through the agent portal. We're talking about comparing pricing options with multiple lenders. We're doing all that on that intake. And then we're sending them to ARIVE to do their application. And I mean, Harish, I got to be honest, I never took any of your trainings. Like I just signed up and got in and started like clicking into things. And it was so easy that like, I didn't have to do any trains compared to Encompass. And then we just use the support chat when we need to. Now my team has done a lot of trainings, but like, it's just that easy. So I think some of the key functions I like is that agent portal is really, really impactful, because for me, the time I hate agents calling me is on the weekends. It's like I've worked 50, 60 hours during the week and I want to take the dang weekend off. And it's typically they have impeccable timing. They'll call me right when I'm cracking a cold one, getting ready to go sit out on the beach, on the dock on my lake. And then they're like, I need an updated pre-approval letter. And so we spent hundreds of dollars. We brought on a weekend LOA to be able to give the agents the ability to update these letters on the fly. And so the agent portal, allowing the agent to be able to update their letter and do that within parameters that we set, is non-negotiable for our business. So if anybody's not using the agent portal, that's one of the areas I would start. Now, with that as well, I like that there's a conversational component to it. So the agent can put notes in that file. You see the notes instantly in your lender side of ARIVE, the LOS. You can send notes back. It keeps it all in one place. You can text, you can email, and we'll get more into that. But agent portal for me, non-negotiable. Having that custom pre-approval letter. So like I just was looking in my pre-approval letter while questions were coming in, and I have drop downs for different states. So in theory, like, because Dwell Mortgage is West Coast based, we have licensing in multiple states. Understanding Arizona, Texas, other states have unique requirements for the letter. We have those drop downs ready to go. So I love how like simple and like frictionless that makes the process for us. Vicky asked where the agent portal is. Vicky, sister, you got to get into the agent portal. It's a free tool when you have a pro membership, and it's so important. So it's in your company settings, and you can go right in there. But again, there's really not a whole lot that you need to do to update and make that yours. You can change the URL, and we've done that. So I go in, and the first thing I did as a broker owner is I created custom URLs. I added in all of our information, put our custom colors in there, put in our logos. Like the last thing you want to do is turn on a system and not make it look like yours. And so that's why it's proprietary to us. So I started with the agent portal. I love that. We have a custom pre-approval letter. We made it our own. It's branded for us. It's got our email signatures, and everything looks really, really clean and simple. So we use that. And then we drive the borrower to that portal, the borrower portion of that portal as well. And so that's why a lot of people have this debate of, do you let people apply before you talk to them? Like, which one do you do first? And we like to have the conversation first. And we do that, I would say 80 to 90% of the time, because we want to set the right expectation. The last thing I want to do is pull up a file and ARIVE, and 80% of it's not completed. So I want to walk that client through that. I also want them to get in that borrower portal early so they get comfortable with it, because we're going to drive people there to look at the milestones, to add notes, to upload docs. Like I want to keep everything in that one system. So we use that a ton. I think the biggest component that we're now starting to dig in on, and I posted in the ARIVE Facebook group a couple of weeks ago, was that texting communication and that email communication, that in-process conversation. So a lot of people asked about integrating with a CRM, and we didn't have that degree of challenge and difficulty. We integrated with Zapier. And so most CRMs integrate with Zapier, and you can get an API connection, but like a guy like me is not going to be functioning with API. Like that's not where I'm going. Like I need it simple, easy, click a couple buttons and get it set up. I was able to use your training, your job aid in the integration section. And this is what's cool about ARIVE. Guys, if you're not using their tutorials, they screenshot every step. They make it super easy. I think the reality is that most of us, when we're setting these things up, we're probably multitasking. So I'm like kind of looking at setting up Zapier, but I'm also doing something else. And when I got into Zapier and we set this up, it wasn't super complicated to set up. And so what we do, we use Go High Level as our CRM. We're offering that to our coaching clients in Next Level as well. And so with Zapier, you can connect right into Go High Level. We actually designed it so a couple of different ways. We designed it so that people could turn off ARIVE communication and have all communication done through Go High Level. That requires more Zaps. That requires more design, more customization. But if you have somebody on staff who's good and comfortable with Zapier, you can do that. And so we had designed it so that every time a stage would change in ARIVE, a stage would change in Go High Level, which would trigger more communication. After doing that, designing that, we realized that most of our LOs wanted something even simpler than that. And so we use our Go High Level account, our CRM, for kind of like the pre-lead. So before people apply, they're in Go High Level and we're marketing, we're doing our ATMs, our weekly actions that matter and things like that. And then we use Go High Level after they close and fund the loan. So we can like start to build that relationship with them post-closing, and then everything during the process is now being done in ARIVE. And that's for the vast majority of our team.
So thank
I'm
you.
gonna pause for a
Shane.
second.
Yes, no, I think we have some good questions. Just to get a pulse of the audience, I do have a small poll. This goes back to questions like, what is an agent portal? Or, so the question is very simple. Do you use agent portal today? So the first option is yes, I use it. Second, I know about this, but I need more training. And the third option is what Vicky asked. What is this feature? So I'll give a maybe 30 seconds for everyone to take some time to answer that. And the second question is, are you using ARIVE collaboration tools like email, SMS, and you can embed videos? We do support emojis, which should go live, I believe, next week. GIFs are coming. GIFs are pretty popular. You can embed funny GIFs, and so that's on the roadmap. Maybe next few weeks or a month. But are you using the tools we provide inside the platform? All right. So we have some great responses. We have about 200 users. So I'm going to end the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right.
Hey, Harish, can I answer a couple questions too?
Yeah, absolutely.
So David, I just read your question. In the past, if an agent uploaded a document, was it notified? And so this is what I love about ARIVE. And I'm not kissing Harish's ass. It's really this simple. So I read David's question. I opened up my agent. I have like a sample agent portal. And if you haven't made sample accounts or test accounts, that's like step one. I have Andrew agent and I have Bobby borrower. And so I can go in and I can test everything. Because it's like, if you're giving your client something that you don't know how it works, you got to stop doing that right away. So I uploaded a PNG, and within seconds, I got an email notification in my LOS email, my Dwell Mortgage email, saying real estate agent just uploaded a document. So to answer David's question, yes, it does notify you instantaneously that the agent has added something into ARIVE. And it also notifies you when they add a note inside the agent portal too, which is great. Again, like my job is to try to direct as many people as I can to that agent portal, that borrower portal, because I control that. And I don't want the client or the agent controlling the process. And agents try to do this all the time. I don't want them controlling the process because it never goes well. I want to control that process. So I want to try to drive them to a simple to use portal as soon as I can.
Yeah, no, thank you, Shane. I think the results of the poll are in line with what we were hearing from the community. Like, only 16% of the audience uses agent portal. And to your point, the best way to start using it is go to the company settings. It'll say agent portal, create test accounts. We have trainings, tutorials, like Shane mentioned, step-by-step guidance available. So, bug us. We'll make sure you guys use it. It is free. It is actually available on the core plan. With Pro plan, you get a little more enhanced lead collaboration. But, on the very basic plan of ARIVE, you have access to agent portal. So we, 55% of the users, come to us, talk to Shane, talk to others. So we have seen users use it to your advantage. Borrowers updating pre-approvals on weekends. Agents updating pre-approval on weekends within the guidelines you define. You can set up LTV, DTI, assets. So if assets have been verified, they cannot mess around with that. So we give you all the controls, and it is all connected. If an agent adds a note, like I did that update on the pre-approval, or here is a contract or whatever else, you get notified immediately. And everything, like Shane mentioned, it's all together. The documents are in the document center, the notes are in the loan notes. So you have access to all the communication and the documentation and the data in one system. That is big, in our opinion. We kind of centralize all this, so you don't have to go to a CRM for communication and then LOS for documents. So the system consolidates all these aspects as you are working on a file. And to Shane's point, you want to get the loan done. You don't want to spend time running around systems to collect information. So
no, I mean, Harish, we had Simple Nexus, which was a mobile app. We had Encompass. We had Lender Logics for the pre-approval letter, which was an awesome system. We had Mortgage Coach for the quote. We had all these things. And so my team was going to multiple systems to transfer docs, upload things. And here's the problem. So then I'd miss a notification on one of those systems. And now my client's like, I uploaded a document to your portal, Simple Nexus, 4 days ago. Well, it never got pushed to Encompass. So I want to drive everybody to that. I think something that's really, really important is making sure that your agents and your clients understand how to use the portal. Although it's really, really easy, people don't follow instructions. They don't do tutorials. I admitted I don't. So they aren't really paying attention when they're signing up for things. I use a screen recording tool called ScreenPal. It used to be called Screencast-O-Matic. I built a sample borrower, a sample agent account, and then I went through the process and I actually record those and I'll do voiceover. So I'll say, hi, agent Shane over at Dwell Mortgage, want to walk you through how to access your agent portal. Hey, here, when you have multiple clients with me, this is what it'll look like if you want to generate pre-approval. So I'm like building my own tutorial. And then anytime I start working with a new agent, I send them that video through BombBomb or through my email, through Loom, whatever you use. And I send that out. And that's been huge because again, and I'll send it to them multiple times because if I send it once, they're not going to watch it. So I'll send it to them 3 or 4 times. And then in my pre-approval email template, I'm driving the agent back to that portal. I'm saying, hey, I'm sending the email to the borrower, but I'm referencing the agent. I'm saying, hey, here's the link for that as well. So there's a lot of that that's really important. I'm not an expert on the CRM issues right now with SMS. Now that's not like it's the A2P, right? However, we've been working on this a ton with our CRM because we offer it for our coaching members and we use it ourselves. And we found a couple of things. It is easier to get a toll-free number. They do still review and approve those, but the requirements are much less. And when you submit for a toll-free number through Twilio, they give you instant access to it. So I had 7 LOs. I submitted all with the toll-free. 3 of my 7 got kicked back and rejected after a couple of days. I got new numbers and I tweaked a couple things and they went through. Now, I will say this. We have heard on our end that toll-free numbers are more likely to be flagged as spam. So yes, it's quicker, it's easier to get a toll-free number, but it also, and I didn't have an issue. So like I texted myself, I tested this, I have Verizon, I had no issues. But if you do have issues, you should look at getting a local number and understanding that it's gonna take 3 or 4 weeks to get that number approved with the A2P. Also, what we have heard is the #1 challenge people are having right now with getting that local number approved is the opt-in and opt-out landing pages. They want to see like, what's your verbiage that you're doing? Like, what's the page look like? Are you communicating that when you're doing your opt-outs in text? What's that verbiage look like? So be really thoughtful about how you're answering those questions because that's what we have heard have been the biggest issues with A2P specifically.
So Shane, excellent points. I can supplement that. Actually, we went through that process since we send text messages when authentication and 2-factor, which is our SMS kind of service, which we use Twilio. So what happened was when we send this text, like you said, they ask, okay, what message you are going to send? So we'll send, here is your code, enter it, and don't share it with anyone. But there are 2 points. The message changes slightly, whether it is the first time or second time. And we didn't properly document first time, second time. And to your point, we got banned. After some time, they came back to us. You're sending messages which are not in your template. So, and then you have to go back and resubmit. But yes, to your point, be thoughtful on how you answer those questions. They are being monitored and audited. So if you don't answer them correctly, they'll come after you if the message is not what you said in your questionnaire. But like to your point, 1-800 numbers have worked great for us as well. It takes a couple of weeks to review. And you can start using this instantly with some limitations, but after 2 weeks, it becomes unrestricted. So yeah, make your choice. Local numbers are generally the best. It gives that feeling of you're local, and that's kind of what mortgage brokers are all about. So I absolutely agree with Shane. If you can find a local number and use it. So Shane, in terms of your setup in ARIVE, have you given every loan officer a phone number? Do you have a company number?
Are you good if I share my screen for a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're gonna have to give me your permissions here. Okay, cool. So I'll show you a couple things. One, let's go through. This is how the agent portal looks, and I just created a sample this morning to show you guys. And what's also another cool feature that's not really, it's kind of flown under the radar, is that lead capture page that you guys created. So you could actually build out a lead funnel like that will ask a lead questions. And then those leads, if they're attached to that agent, will drop right into the agent portal. Business contacts as well. So if you had like insurance agents and other, partners that you were working with, they'd show up in here. But it's as simple as they go in here and they can see everything right away. They can upload documents. It's very simple. They can put loan notes in here. And that's what I did. So I said, hey, the client is making an offer contingent on an inspection. That got sent. There's a log that they can use. We also, let me go to that pre-approval letter really quick. I mean, again, like what's so cool about this, and this is different than obviously the borrower side. I love that it's kind of like agent proof. So they can't go above. So if I set that max pre-approval at 600,000, it will not let them generate that letter, which is awesome. And that's super important. So then that's that weekend work that they can do on their own and save you a bunch of time. There's a sample of how my letter looks. We wanted to keep it very clean and simple. But yeah, that's just and it's obviously got your pipeline. It's got, the updates that are pending and things like that. But I like how clean it looks. I like that it's a one-page view, but works really, really well. So that's the agent portal. Let me go to my dashboard and this is my fake loan I made. All you have to do is go to setup and contacts. You add in that real estate agent, and then you can instantly send them access to the pre-approval letter. And so like for the agent, I set pipeline and pre-approval. And so it sends them all of the information into their agent portal. And it's literally that easy. And then from the setup, you just go into your company settings. And I'm going quick because I know we've got a lot we need to do. But for the agent config, there's not really a lot you do. You can just update your URL for that. And then of course your pre-approval letter, there's, you can completely customize that letter and we've done exactly that. So it's in your company settings. And again, like, sorry, Harish, Amy, and the team, I never did any tutorials, but like I didn't need to because it was so freaking easy that we never had to. So we built our pre-approval letters. We have our own custom letter in there that we use, and it's just super straightforward. On the SMS too, guys, it's super easy to go through Twilio. Twilio is like the largest provider of phone numbers in the world. And it's nice that you guys are doing it with Twilio, not trying to do it on your own, because I own those numbers in Twilio. And so like, I'm able to navigate and control that process of getting them submitted. And for me as a broker owner, like that's part of what I love about being a broker is I control things. I control a lot more things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Maybe one more screen, Shane, if you can open up and show your templates, that where there is email and text, that would be helpful to the users. You can.
Yeah, so there's two components to this, right, guys? You can do it in your user settings or in your company settings. I'm in the company settings. First and foremost, this is where I set up my Twilio. And what I love about it is you can assign all the numbers to people. And I set it up so that the loan officer could not add their own Twilio. That was just, I just wanted to do that for them and make it easy, but you can certainly set it up so that they can get their own Twilio. So since I did it that way, they can't edit anything on their phone number in their user settings. And then I didn't do anything for the email here because that's done on the user side. In the templates, you can turn on text and email for anything. And then you can go in and you can send test SMS, send test emails, and then edit your templates. And so like I went in and I was just tweaking one of my templates today, but like I mentioned, I included the agent URL for that agent portal right in my pre-approval letter to drive that back to the agent multiple times. And I know, Harish, we talked at AIM Fuse, and I saw a couple people ask this as well. The biggest request I have, and I'm sure a lot of people are asking this, is like multiple email templates, multiple SMS templates. So I could do like an email to the borrower, an email to the agent that would be totally separate. And I know you guys are working on that.
Yes, absolutely. I think to your point, we are thinking about like, to your point, how do we keep it simple? We can add all these templates in another section. So the question becomes like, how do we keep it, to your point, where we don't have to train our users? But yes, absolutely. When certain milestones, specifically like, conditional approval or, the appraisal came in, there are certain milestones which do require, in fact, like, I want to tell borrower X, but my agent Y. So yes, absolutely. So that should also maybe next few months be out. And we want to keep it simple. So once it is out, our users can use it without a lot of, how do I do this and how do I do that? So that's kind of how we also try to develop ARIVE, like, keeping it simple. Loan officers are trying to get apps in and clear to close. That's kind of what your goal is. And, how do we make the technology invisible, if you will? So
Harish, can I answer a couple more questions here? So somebody,
Yeah, go for it.
who's the anonymous one? Come on, guys.
Oh.
Somebody said, are texts absolutely necessary? Yes. If you want to grow your business or continue to keep your business at the same level, you have to. Like, we're no different than our borrowers. We're no different than our agents. My texting is my number one form of communication. I go to text before I go to email. For me, email is a CYA. Email is the details, but the text message says, hey, Harish, congrats, you've been pre-approved. Check your inbox. I have the email so I can cover my butt when it comes to the agent saying, hey, my client says you never sent them the following. I'm like, check your email. I did. I sent all that. But I know from personal experience that my clients are far more likely to respond to a text. They're far more likely to receive a text. And so, like, we use text as our primary form of communication to get people's attention. In addition, everything I'm doing on social media is driving to take the online offline, and offline for me is a text message so I can have a more personal one-on-one conversation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, Shane, another kind of point you hinted at, I just want to expand on that. So ARIVE has become really good at in transaction collaboration. When you're in the loan process, notifying parties, we will enhance having a different template for agents and borrowers. So that's coming, but we are really strong. Everything gets in one place. You can see all the notes, the document, the data. One area where we are going to improve, this is next year when we come back in January, before a contact becomes a prospect, you want to run some nurture drips or notify your borrower. That's one area we are looking into. And then once the loan has closed, you have a client, they close the file. Now you want to thank him automatically, loan anniversary emails or birthday emails, or, rates have dropped, rates will drop 9 months, 12 months. So that is coming. So we are prepping up from our perspective for our users. How can we look at all the data that we have already collected? So you're not, rekeying any information or re-entering anything, and then let you say, I want to run a nurture campaign on all my closed files who are first-time home buyers, but are in, Washington and have 600 plus FICO. So those kinds of things we can do because we have the data, and that's kind of our approach going into next year. Like, how can we let you run simple nurture campaigns, leveraging all the information which is already collected. So you're not going back and rekeying, here is my borrower, he has 2 kids and this is their birthday date, or he closed the loan at this rate. And so we are going to leverage our assets, which is all the information which already exists, and then let you run. So that's next year. And when we collect back in January, we'll tell you more details about what exactly we plan to do, but it is coming. But yeah, I think these were great points. We have 5 more minutes, and we have maybe dozens and dozens of questions, Shane. So maybe both of us can look at.
Yeah.
But
Tamala, if you can't find the agent portal, it's right in your company settings. So that we'll consider that done.
Yeah, we just went through that demo.
Yep. Once you give access to the agent portal, do they see the communication? They do. I love that. Do the agents have to sign into the agent portal? They do. They have to actually go and create a password and log in. So what I would be doing is, if you have agents that are lazy or don't follow instructions, I would get on a call with them when you do your first pre-approval. Like, hey, congrats, we just got a client and contract, pre-approved or whatever. Hey, I want to walk you through this so you can access the letter 24/7, right? Because I know there's going to be a time when you're going to need to update a letter and I'm not going to be available, and I don't want you to wait. So I want you to be able to access it instantly. So, and then I walk them through that. Do I use our custom email templates on the roadmap? You can customize emails right now. So, I mean, they have generic emails in there, but guys, at the end of the day, you own your process. And right now, most originators have some extra time to really invest in building out everything that they use to a 10, right? Like during the refi boom, everything we were doing was like a 6 or a 7 because we were too busy closing loans to like perfect our email or our text. I would highly recommend going through and like revamping your email communication. We do that all the time. I just revamped more today. I revamped them 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I highly recommend creating custom emails. Do I use a CRM for the initial connect, integrate with ARIVE? We're kind of working through that process. So what we have been doing is you can like text. So I use links.co as my personal website, and it's super user-friendly. It's mobile-based, and it's links.co. I use that for my website. And on that, like one of the first calls to action is to apply online, and it drives them right to ARIVE. I'm going quick here, Harish.
Yes, sure. I'm also trying to answer.
Yeah.
as many
So somebody asked about their cell phone number, and God bless them, because I have always had a dream of having one number for everything. The reality is you can't do that. We had it designed where through Zapier and using Ring Central for our phone, we would zap a text, it would go to Ring Central, it would send it from Ring Central. It was a huge workaround. It was a huge amount of really heavy lift, but with the new SMS requirements, it kind of made that non-workable. So we have two phone numbers, our personal line and our team line. And we'll say, hey, this is our team line. This is our notification line. Save this number, because anything that happens on your loan, we're going to update you through that phone number. So we do have two different lines.
All right. We still have like maybe 19, 20 questions open. So maybe Shane, take them as many. So
yeah.
you can so how do you integrate Arrive with your website, Shane? Do you put a link, like a quote link or an application link? Anything you can
Yeah. Here's the deal about websites. We think far more about our websites than our consumers and agents do. And I know this because I wasted hundreds of hours building out a Wix site and a WordPress site, and none of my clients care. Unless you're doing online lead gen and you're trying to build out something for SEO, you want something that's very easy and user-friendly for your clients to use. Get something like a Linktree or a Links or a WordPress that's mobile friendly. But yeah, that's one of the main things we do. And then in my social media profiles, my links.co URL is always there. It's my virtual business card, and it's where people apply. So everywhere they see me, the first link they're going to see is to my consumer-facing, realtor-facing website, which is links.co.
So Tamala, if you're a company admin, you should see agent portal on your left menu and work with our support team on chat. They can help you with that. You know, how do you get access to agent portal?
So a lot of people will misunderstand too, Harish, like, oh, I have a CRM with a phone number. And what they don't understand is that most CRMs are buying those numbers from Twilio. Twilio charges like 0.07 cents per text. And then the CRM companies are upcharging you for that. So if you ask your CRM provider, a lot of them are using Twilio, and some will allow you to transfer your Twilio number over to them or vice versa. So I would ask your companies that.
And Shane, like you exactly said, we have also heard from our users, like, you know, the CRM companies will buy a Twilio for pennies, and then they will charge $1, you know, and then
per
contact, you know, per every contact you add, or so that there are all these. So I think from Arrive perspective, like you said, what we said is, how do we give you unlimited access to these features instead of trying to meter them? Or let's say you have, you know, 1,000 contacts or 10,000 contacts, you have relationship over past 10 years. So our goal is to let you market to all of them or text all of them, but using a service which will cost you, let's say, $10 a month or $20 a month. That's kind of the mindset, you know, this was developed with, and we have been very successful, like you mentioned, Shane. So
yeah. So Mark Zachary, what's up, buddy? He asked a question about the access to the portal. Borrowers and agents have their own separate portal, which I like. I like that the agent can see the borrowers, like some of their information, but not all the information, because we want to control that narrative. But yeah, they don't. Evan asked me about, I use Go High Level. So that's a great question, Evan. I'm working on right now whether or not I can use one Twilio number for both Arrive and Go High Level. I don't know. So I'm working with Go High Level on that. And in the future, obviously, like the goal is that we have one system start to finish. And I know Harish is working on that. Right now, the simplest thing for my team was pre and post is in my CRM, my marketing portal, and during is in Arrive, just because it integrates with the portal for the borrower. And you have different phone numbers for your loan officers, correct? Not one phone number. Correct. Each LO has their own number. They're $2.15 a month. So if you have an LO on your team and you can't justify $2.15, it's probably time to give them an opportunity to find a new home.
I think there are some questions on your templates. Again, this is from Igor. So maybe you can ping Shane. Generally Shane is very, very.
Yeah, man, hit me up on social media, and I'm happy to share with you. I mean, it's not rocket science, but I used to make really long emails and realized that nobody reads them. So now everything is very short and simple and concise. One thing I would end with is, guys, you all need to be recording what we call evergreen videos. An evergreen video is if you took a yellow notepad and every time a client or an agent asked you a generic question, you wrote it down. And then every time somebody asked that again, you put a check mark by it. The top 15 to 20 questions you get all the time, you should record an evergreen video, meaning it's not to, hi, Harish, it's Shane at Dwell Mortgage. It's, hey, it's Shane at Dwell Mortgage. A great question about mortgage insurance. There's 4 different options. Here's the, and you record these, and then you can send those out as communication pre, post, and during the process. In fact, like for your, let's say your pre-approval email and SMS, short email, congrats, you've been pre-approved. Here's the info. Remember, go to your portal to access this. Here's a quick video explaining what's next. Hey, congrats on getting pre-approved. Super exciting, step in the process. Keep in mind, there are a couple things about your pre-approval to make note of. The pre-approval is good for fill in the blank, 90, 120 days. You'll see that date on your letter. The reason why it does expire is because it's tied to your credit report. Like, again, just answering the basic questions before people ask them. That was one of the things that really helped me grow my business, because I was a full-time fireman when I started. And so for the first 6 years, I was a fireman in downtown Seattle, and I was an originator. And so like agents would be calling me, I'm doing CPR on somebody, or I'm like driving the fire truck. And so I got really, really good at answering questions before people ask them. And recording evergreen videos is a great way to educate people before they, because you know what people are going to ask before they ask it. Like, we know what people are going to ask. And so, hey, you have self-employed borrowers, DSCR borrowers, just record evergreen videos, and you can integrate those through short links in the text or links in the email. Or as I showed in the Facebook group, you can put the GIF and use like BombBomb and embed that in there. And it looks really, really cool.
All right. So Shane, again, I want to thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate all the insights, education.
Thanks, man.
I promise everyone this would be a treat. It was really amazing. But again, I wish everyone a happy weekend, happy Halloween. We'll be in touch. Thank you so much for your time.